Welcome back to the inner sanctum of Turkish Spotlight Secrets, the corner of the internet where we refuse to be dazzled by surface-level sparkle. Here, we peel back the layers that fame tries to polish, searching for the raw, revealing moments that echo louder than any publicity stunt. Today, our lens turns to one of Turkey's most magnetic duos, Cemre Arda and Gökberk Yıldırım, and to a decision that quietly challenged the textbook definition of a romantic getaway. In a world where celebrity couples vanish behind guarded resort gates, sipping privacy from crystal flutes and posting sunsets that look designed in a studio, Seamra and Gawkberg did something far more intimate, and far more daring. Before we map the steps of this unexpected escape, make sure you've secured your place in this community. Are you subscribed? We're building a space for thoughtful watchers, not just passive consumers. If you want to ensure we can keep delivering deep dives instead of drive-by gossip, hit join below. Your support keeps Turkish Spotlight Secrets independent and unflinching. Now, let's walk down to the shoreline. The first wave of news felt like warm air slipping through a cracked window during a storm of rumors and weary cynicism. Cemre Arda and Gökberk Yıldırım, whose on-screen charisma and off-screen rapport have made them a fixation for millions, chose to carve out a pocket of time from their punishing routines. Sets that run past midnight. Endless interviews where every word is weighed. An obligation to be presentable even when exhausted. They needed an exhale. But when the images began trickling into the digital stream, it wasn't the map pin that caught attention. Not the caliber of the resort. Not the pretend distance from Istanbul's noise. It was the person in their company. Against the usual script that celebrates seclusion for two, they brought someone who doesn't understand PR and doesn't need to, the littlest center of gravity in their orbit. At the heart of this short-lived universe was Mavi, Cemre's beloved niece. The moment that name appeared in captions and whispers, the tenor of the conversation changed. This wasn't about luxury. It wasn't about showing off bodies under perfect light. It was about values, plain and unadorned. From the first leaked photos, the trip struck a different note. No showy yachts photobombing the horizon. No velvet-roped parties staged for stories and shares. Just sea and salt and sky, and three people who looked like they had pressed pause on everything except presence. Cemre and Gökberk stepped out of the frame where they're forced to be international headliners and into an everyday role so many understand, a devoted aunt, and a partner who became the gentlest, most attentive of uncles. Cemre, in particular, reminded everyone why she's seen as one of the most family-rooted figures in the industry. With scripts piling up and meetings chasing their own tails, her focus never drifted away from Mavi. In those unguarded frames, no studio light, no filter magic, Cemre's glow didn't come from the sun but from watching a child breathe easier. She wasn't patrolling her image like a security guard. She was sprawled on the sand, digging tiny trenches for tiny waves, checking hats and snacks, counting seconds between laughter and splash. Eyewitnesses described a woman who repeatedly put the little girl's needs before her own comfort, who moved beach towels like chess pieces to keep the shade just right, who never once chose a selfie over a moment. Even reporters known for their skepticism softened. For Cemre, family isn't a line delivered to a camera, it's a lived routine. And then there was the spark that truly set the internet humming, the way Gökberk Yıldırım inhabited that scene. Those long-lens shots, less like ambushes, more like glimpses into something real, showed him as we seldom see him, far from the intensity he often channels on screen. In one image, Mavi sits atop his shoulders, tiny hands tangled in his hair, while he faces the surf like a guardian who knows waves are thrilling only when you feel safe. In another, he crouches beside her, sculpting sand into intricate battlements with the focus of a builder who cares more about collaboration than perfection. The reaction was immediate and heartfelt. Comments poured in, "Here's the Gökberk we always sensed behind the roles. Mavi is lucky to have him. He was born for this tenderness." Fans didn't read a performance. They saw a man surrendering to small joys, the unbranded, unmonetized kind. Let me take the temperature of the Turkish Spotlight Secrets community. Seeing an actor famed for controlled intensity settling into this playful, protective energy, does it shift your perspective? Does it make you view Gawkberg differently as a partner to Cemre? Do you find yourself rooting harder for them after this glimpse? Pause the video, drop your thoughts, and if you want your voice to stand out in future breakdowns, becoming a member with Join is the simplest way to amplify it. What made the narrative sing wasn't only Gawkberg's softness, it was the seamless way he integrated into the aunt-niece rhythm. He didn't hover like a polite outsider, careful not to disturb a delicate bond. He clicked in like the missing piece of a picture that suddenly made sense. That ease is what fueled a wave of unusually wholesome commentary. Social feeds were saturated with praise, not snark. People didn't just see cute photographs, they recognized a signpost. You don't invite a toddler into a couple's brief escape if the romance is precarious or provisional. You do it when the foundation is sturdy, when the future you imagine stretches to include more than just two people. Lines like this single frame says everything, and a real family forming in plain sight kept appearing, transforming grainy images into symbols of something enduring. Despite the attention their presence naturally attracted, Cemre and Gawkberg handled the buzz with their usual understated grace. They didn't barricade themselves in the suite, but they didn't turn the trip into a stage either. When approached by fans who observed boundaries, they smiled, exchanged a few kind words, posed for a quick snapshot, and then drifted back to the shoreline, back to the ordinary magic of digging, splashing, and laughing. They reminded everyone that you can be visible without being consumed. Their return to Istanbul, a few candid shots at the airport, dressed for comfort rather than effect, was the quiet epilogue that confirmed the purpose of the trip. Sun-touched faces. Unrushed movements. The kind of relaxed posture that no stylist can produce. The press asked questions, of course, but answers weren't necessary. Something in the way they moved together said what statements never can. And now, with sand finally shaken out of bags and scripts spread across tables once more, the industry starts to murmur, what comes next? Word is that the months ahead will be relentless for both of them. New projects. New demands. New hours that stretch and swallow. Yet the pictures from this escape linger like a promise. No matter how loud the work becomes, Cemre and Gawkberg know the road back to each other, and to the small person who reminded them how restorative simplicity can be. Sources close to the pair insist there was no strategic memo behind the decision to bring Mavi. No angle. No engineered reveal. It was as elemental as breath, two people choosing to share time with the child who lights up their family's group chats and weekends. Ironically, the unintended message was stronger than any orchestrated campaign. Cemre and Gawkberg didn't need grand pronouncements. They didn't need a glossy magazine spread. They built sandcastles with a little girl and let the tide erase the evidence, leaving only the memory, and that was enough to move a global audience. For those of us saturated in the theater of fame, it's almost startling to remember that the moments which last most aren't the choreographed ones. Here, the lasting image is not a designer label or a perfect pose. It's Cemre holding Mavi's hat as the wind tries to steal it. It's Gawkberg adjusting his stride so tiny legs never feel left behind. It's laughter bouncing between waves and an unspoken agreement to be fully present. Those are the scenes no publicist can manufacture and no cynic can easily dismiss. If this deep dive reframed how you see them, let us know with a like. It helps more than you think. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our next look behind the curtain of your favorite Turkish stars. And if you want to be part of the core that keeps this channel vibrant and fearless, tap join. Thank you for watching Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Until next time, keep looking for what's real beneath the image, and remember that sometimes the truest love story is written in the sand, one tiny footprint at a time.